Right. I think
There
we're
we
live,
go.
my friend. I think we are live. Where's our music?
You know what that means. You know what that means.
Yes. That's what it means. Oh my God. Do you know something, mate? I might actually be doing something social on Monday.
I don't know if you're ready for that, mate. It's been a while.
I'm very excited, but I've got some messages from some friends to play football.
Wow.
I've played football for about 2-3 years.
2
I don't
years.
think I'm going to hack it, to be quite honest.
Wow.
I'm excited though. I'm going to go for it anyway, mate, even if I have to hop around.
Mate, that sounds like a torn hamstring.
Yeah, it is. It is. I did ligaments.
Oh, really?
Ligaments, yeah, quite a few years ago.
Cruciate or anterior?
Cruciate ligaments, yeah. I had an operation, but I just couldn't recover it. It's just, I think you have to really, really work hard in the gym and stuff to get it strong again.
Was that like a Gaza? Did you try and take someone out and then you ended up doing yourself over?
Mate, AstroTurf. I basically, you know, like somebody turned and then I turned to just so he doesn't go past me, and my standing foot was just there and it went bang. And do you know what the crazy thing is? You know I'm crazy. I carried on playing. I was like, no, I'm determined we're going to win and I'm not coming off. And I just carried on, and obviously that made it way worse. So that's when determination is stupidity.
Mate, I've been hearing a phrase quite a lot this week. Obsession can either lead to mastery or madness.
That's madness. It was madness. But I'll do it again. That's just the thing. I just can't help myself.
Wow. How long were you out for? Like, how long were you like? If you had to have surgery?
Yeah, I mean, for about a year, and then I tried to play again, but it's just really weak. I can still feel it now.
Mate, I haven't played. I think the last time I'd already retired by the time I went to uni.
Be awesome.
Mate, I wouldn't, and then I haven't played for a year. I don't think I could do half of what I used to do.
Nah, I don't think I'll be able to do much, but even if I play in goal, I'll be happy just to be there.
Wow, you're happy making up the numbers these days. Wow.
No, not happy making. I'll be diving around. I'm actually quite good in goal.
Wait, what position? Let me guess. I bet you used to play defender.
No, not defender. Jesus. Midfield, mate. Steven Gerrard maniac like that, just running around, tackling, passing the ball out.
Very interesting.
Not defender. Jesus, that's the worst position.
Never would have picked you as that, mate. And everybody that plays on AstroTurf, it's just basically it's so tight that you're just going there to kick people. I
think it's better now. Like the last few years in London, anyway, they've made them quite good now.
Yeah,
like it's not like the rubbish Astro that it was. This is like it's much better. It's closer to grass.
Wow. So you're back and out being social is the moral of the story. What's everybody else up to?
Yes.
Or is this like some sort of low key like Fight Club AstroTurf football match that only the diehard lockdown breakers are going to do?
Well, I don't know. That's all I know so far, but I'm excited. Hopefully, it goes ahead.
Nice.
On Monday.
So what's everybody else doing? Hello, by the way. We're just like chatting like we're having like a one of Andy's flat white coffee cappuccino.
I had one of those today, mate. I needed it.
I bet you did. I bet you did. So how's everybody else doing tonight? Got a bit of housekeeping to attend to. Frosty. Top 5. We are rocking and rolling. Fred Martin in the house. Neil's viewing on YouTube. Good to have you with us, my friend. But first up, top of the leaderboard, Slavomir. Boom.
Slavomir.
Where's
Slavomir? Slavomir, where are you from?
Good question.
You did tell us.
Good to have you with us. And Julie. Tony's sneaking into the top 5, I think, just top 6. Good to have you with us. So tonight we're going to talk about pairs. So maybe this is the first time you've tuned into the show. Obviously, every week we're getting more and more members to the group. So welcome. I'm the host, Gavin. This is our resident professional trader, Mr. Andy Demi. So yeah, today we're going to talk about FX and trading, maybe get into a little bit of psychology, depending on how far we go down the rabbit hole this week. And this week, I thought it'd be good to talk about currency pairs. So from a point of view, where you are now, do you have like a top three? Because I know at the end of the show, we put you on the spot and you just end up basically just taking requests now to break down currency pairs. So to you, it doesn't really matter. But having said that, with that being said, do you have a favorite currency pair or maybe a couple of favorite pairs? And if so, why?
Yeah, sure. Just before I kind of talk about that, funny story about pairs. Like I posted something. I was supposed to post something in our Facebook group, and I posted it on my profile. And I posted something like, "Hey guys, which pairs are you looking at?" And I got a lot of very funny responses because they're like, "What are you talking about?" So when it's very important that we specify currency pairs because to the outside world, they think you're talking about the fruit. But anyway, I digress. I think it makes a difference. I must say, there is each currency pair does move in a certain way, and some fit your trading style better than others, I would say. But I think it's interesting because there's a lot of people that have their favorites, and I think favorites for me, my favorites are the ones that I've had the most success with. That's the honest truth. But where would I recommend people start? Absolutely, I would always recommend you start with the majors. So you start with the majors, which is basically all the major currencies against the dollar. So cable, GBP, USD, Euro dollar, Aussie dollar. If I actually had to say, those three are probably my favorite, those three. Maybe if I had to pick my top one, I'd probably say Aussie out of those three, and then probably cable and then Euro. But those three, if I was going to focus on just three, I would say those three would be the ones. I really like the way they move. They're quite predictable. And also, there's two things, obviously the Euro and cable, so Euro and sterling, moves in the time zone that I'm awake. That's important. But the Aussie, I find, is a very technical currency pair, and it really reacts to technical indicators, let's say. So I really like it. I do very, very well from the Aussie. So that's a big factor. And then if you want to mix it up, then away from the majors, I would go with something like sterling Oz and maybe Euro Oz. That would be because then it's mixing my favorite currency pairs, sterling and Oz, Euro and Oz. And also why that sort of collection is nice is because when you're doing Euro against the dollar, what you're doing basically is identifying whether the Euro is strong against the US dollar, and then you're doing pound against the dollar. I say pound because some people don't know cable. And then you'll get a good feeling of okay, sterling is strong, Euro strong, Aussie weak strong, and then you're mixing the two together. You'll kind of think, okay, this one should go up or this one should go down. So it kind of all mixes nicely together. So those would be the five that I'd recommend people start with. I don't know if I answered all of your questions, but I just realised that I've got a stick.
You did. That's the show. Right, on to the live trade setup of the week.
Fantastic. Look, I just realised I've got a sticker, mate, from my daughter. She's told me well done for something, so I'll keep it on.
Ah,
I find random stickers on my clothes all the time. I just don't realise when they go on. Oh, there you go. So somebody appreciates my work.
Oh,
I'll keep it there.
there you go. That's only because you put food on the table for her, boo boo.
That's very true. That's very true.
I'm sure she appreciates you a lot, mate. So you've unpacked quite a lot there. So going back to that, so you've named 5. So just go over the pairs again that you've named. Are your favourites, or are they for the best ones for a new person to actually start taking action on?
I think both. They're definitely my favourite currency pairs, but I think they're very, very good for new starters. So firstly, they're liquid. So for people that don't know what that means, it means that you can get in and out with very little problems in terms of getting the right price. Commissions are low. So, from that point of view, I think, very stable. And yeah, I think they're great to start with. And actually, to be honest, I never used to necessarily think this before, but I think you don't really need to do anything else. Like sometimes just focusing on 4 or 5 pairs, getting really good at them, really, really knowing them really, really well. So because you can't I'll be honest, like I used to recommend people go through all 27 currency pairs, and that's what I used to do. That's why I recommended it, because I don't like to recommend stuff that I don't do, basically, because that's like, the whole point is if I'm teaching somebody something, then it's to help them get results. So, but then I kind of started to realize that I just want to make the biggest return that I can. I think my goal changed. What's the biggest return I can make with the least amount of time or effort? That's it. What's the most amount I can make with the least amount of time or effort? And then I realized, that's enough. You can just trade those 4 or 5, get your pips. It doesn't really matter. And I've been saying this in other markets as well. We won't mention the C word, but whatever market you're trading, like, you might have your favorite, right? But it doesn't really matter if you make it in your favorite or if you make it in something else. The most important thing is what's being banged at the end of the day. Like, so sometimes we might think, oh, I've missed that. But have you got your results? Have you got your outcome? If you have, then that's the name of the game. It's results. Results and progress. That's it. So progressing, learning more, improving, and then obviously being able to make a return. There's nothing else really to this, is there? So I think for me, having 4 or 5, get to know them really, really well. So like when you go to bed and I say to you, euro dollar, you know it, right? Yeah, I know where it is. It's up there. It's on the D. It's turning around. I think it's just breaking the trend. When I wake up, I think, okay, if I can get that pull back, it's just like that mental image is in your head. You know it already. You feel it. So when you turn on your screens, you just know the chart really, really well. Now, if you're doing 27, 30, 40, you won't have that level with it. So that's the only thing. But if you want to spend more time, the way around it is a lot more work, but you can use the alerts. As you know, I do that a lot. So use alerts, and that way that kind of, that helps, because yes, you don't remember them, but at least you're putting notes on each chart. I think it's experience, mate. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at 27, I will tend to remember them. Not as well if I'm doing 3 or 4, but like, I think if I was, at the moment that's not the case, but if I was looking at 27 currency pairs and you said to me, CAD yen, tell me what it's doing, I'd probably be confident I'd be able to tell you. But I think it's because it doesn't take me as long as a beginner. I think that's also important. So it won't take me, half an hour to know what's going on. I think I already told you how long I spent having a look at the currency pair that somebody asked me to, and already I've got it. I've got the picture in a couple of minutes. So I think that's important as well, depending on where you are.
Awesome. So if you had to pick a favorite, which would it be? If you had to take one, if they were going to remove all other currencies and they were going to just keep one.
Aussie dollar, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know in the comments if you've got one. Which one's your favorite? If you had to just take one currency pair to trade, which one would be your favorite? And the interesting thing is, so it's like everything, right? More isn't necessarily better. So when you were trying to get all 27, 28 pairs, have you found that when you hone down to like 4 or 5 that you've just mentioned, that you get just as many setups? You just maybe have to be a little bit more patient.
No, you do. You do get as many setups because, I mean, what I would tend to do is, if there isn't the setups there, it's not that I'll be patient. I will look at others. So, like, if I've got a return to hit, I'm not going to just say I'm only doing these 4 or 5. Like, I will carry on looking at more opportunities if I don't find what I need on those. So, but if you're if you're a swing trader, and everybody carry on, please type in out your favorite currency pairs. I'd be really, really interested to see. But if you're a swing trader, which basically means for beginners that you're looking at the higher time frames, your daily, your weekly, and you're looking to catch bigger moves, you probably will need to look at more than just 4 or 5, because you won't get too many opportunities. I don't really recommend that type of trading for FX anyway, like not trading off the weekly and the daily. I think you have to go down to the hourly chart to find opportunities, in my opinion, in FX. 4 hour at the minimum, as a minimum, and ideally hourly time frames. I prefer to find opportunities in FX that are going to last 1 or 2 days. That's it. Because I don't know. I mean, they're not as trending as other markets. So, I mean, I don't know if you've experienced it already. I mean, I know I've experienced it plenty of times, where you catch a move and then it's nicely in profit and then it just reverses. And then you're like, some markets really trend, right? Like some markets really, really trend, not mentioning C words, but some markets do. But even like something like the S&P, right? If you trade the S&P, or if you trade the components within the S&P, Amazon, Tesla, whatever, there's so many stocks you could trade. They tend to be more trending, right? Up or down. So FX is a different beast, so you have to kind of adapt to that. So that's why I prefer to take shorter term positions. But I think FX is still, for me, the number one market to trade.
I think there's a few of us that, I mean, I have to get back to FX. Since the C word kind of took over, I've done very little, if barely nothing on it. So it'd be good to go back to it. A few people have been saying that as well, that after doing the C for a while and then going back, it's just like night and day, and just taking that analysis back into the FX world. It's like when I was younger, I used to play a lot of pool. And then if I would go and play snooker, I would really struggle to adjust because of the size. Yeah. Whereas if I played, and then I worked out, if I played snooker first, and then played pool, I could literally run the table. Absolutely. Or at least get 5 or 6 balls down. So I wonder if it's going to be the same.
It probably will be. You're absolutely right. I'm the same. I used to play a lot, and you're right. That way around, when you play snooker, and it's so hard, and it's like, and then you sort of immediately go to the baby table. You're like, this is so easy. Like the pockets are bigger. That obviously there's not so much distance. It's so easy. So that's kind of like, it's true. When you learn at a higher level and then you go back to basics, it's like, you're going to find it easier. Absolutely. The experience, when you go back to FX, you will have way more. It's like saying with me, Gavin, that when I day traded the S&P and the Dow, as you know, for a couple of years, and I mean, day traded, lived and breathed it all day long for 2 years. Like, I became so good at price action, like so good. Like I could just feel it's going to go or not going to go or whatever. And then if you compare it to what I do in FX, it's like night and day. But that experience has helped me so much. When I'm looking at something and I'm looking for whether it's about to go or not, that experience is what really taught me it. And I told you I worked with some really good like traders on price action, pit traders, who this is literally what they did. They, like Hubert Centers, who I kind of learned from on price action. They used to use pit noise. Did you know that?
No.
So, and I actually I didn't even tell you guys this actually. This is quite a good one. We used to subscribe to pit noise.
What does that mean?
So basically, in the pits, they're shouting like how it used to be. Like you're not basically buying and selling on your screens. They used to be in the pits, like in what's the film with Nick Leeson? No, with Nick Leeson, where he basically bankrupted the bank. Somebody must know it in here. You must
know. A bit of trivia. Someone will get it. Keep talking.
Yeah. So anyway, when they were basically trading that way, so it used to be kind of, I don't even know how they made sense of it, but literally you just kind of make some signals, and then I wouldn't mind watching that film again actually, and then they'd buy and sell and whatever. Field Rogue Trader. It is Rogue Trader. Yes. Not Sab. No, wrong. Steve Frost. He's the winner, and Ewan and Daryl. Yeah, Rogue Trader. So anyway, so we used to subscribe.
Just for everybody else watching, this is what Andy's referring to. We'll share everything with you also. Sab said trading places. Frosty was the first one with the right answer. Rogue Trader. Ewan as well. Thank you very much for that. And Daryl.
Well done.
Yeah, couldn't remember that one.
Have you seen it?
Years ago. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think I had it on DVD. Obviously, I don't have a DVD player anymore. Must be somewhere.
Although when it came out,
mate, I just watch stuff on boxes now.
Yeah, it wouldn't have even been Blu-ray when that came out. That was
it's not about keeping discs anymore. You don't need that. But anyway, so yeah, I completely forgot about this actually. So we subscribed. It was about £200 a month to Pit Noise. That's literally what it sounds like. Pit Noise. So why and what was it? Well, I learned this from this guy Hubert. Basically, when you were trading, you had to listen to the pit noise. So when there was like a crescendo of noise, like you knew the market was going to peak, and that's literally what we were paying for. So it was like when it became super noisy, like there was a crescendo, like you literally were looking at your charts and you're like, right, market's going to turn, it's exhausted, bang, and you'd go the other way. And obviously you'd look at other factors, but yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy way of trading. Honestly, I've experienced so many different, and that's the thing, those sort of things, you think, well, that's got nothing to do with what I do now, but that surely has to have had an impact, right? It must have taught me stuff like price. And so I think every experience is great. So you experience something else, you go away and you're all into something else, and then you come back to your normal world and you're a different person. So now I promise you, go back to FX compared to what you were doing with cryptos, and you will see that you will be better for it, 100%.
So So was this just for the indices in the S&P that you'd get the noise, the pit noise?
You can get them for others as well. I wasn't really paying for that, but you could get them for commodities. I can't remember what, like cattle markets and those sort of markets. So you'd pay extra for that, but I just paid for the S&P pit noise. I just remembered it now. I mean, that must have been 15 years ago. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I literally tried so many different things.
Did it help? Did it help?
No, it did. It did. It would. Yeah, we were subscribing to it. I mean, it helped for the way we were trading then. It must still be available. No, actually, is it still available? I don't even know if there's any pits left. There must be one or two. Somebody can look. We can look it up if it still exists. Pit noise. I'm sure someone's googling it.
Be interesting to see. So going back to the currency pairs, James, thanks a lot for your comment. So GBP yen is his favorite.
That's the one I'm going to cover, I believe.
Sab's tried and tested Euro USD. Neil, thank you for your comment. Wow, you really learn something new here every day, plus really helpful as I am in this course. Another thing I can add to my trading arsenal. That is the plan. That is the plan. Julie says, I like CAD yen. Notice Dan likes this one too, so he does most of my homework for me on this. Smart,
very smart.
Leverage it. And Daryl, congratulations. I've been scalping GBP Aussie every morning between 7 and 9 and getting excellent results. Good on you, mate.
That's a good one. I like sterling.
Cool. So I think we've covered what I wanted to talk about. And I guess if we can is it possible just to go back slightly and just understand, give people a glimpse into, like you said about understanding the personality of the currency pairs. Can you kind of just abbreviate, like maybe give an example for a couple of the pairs, something that you've noticed compared to when you were new, and then now with the experience that you've got, like understanding how something moves? Like you said, one of the pairs responds more to technical analysis, right? So it kind of respects the lines that you're drawing. Can you kind of go into a bit more detail on that for like a few minutes?
Yeah. So like what I find is like the commodity pairs, they tend to be much better for breakouts. So the moves tend to be less fake out and more real. Again, like, when I'm trying to catch, a momentum play, then I would, so like we're trying to catch a decent move quite quickly. You would go to like a Euro Oz or Sterling Oz or Sterling Kiwi or Euro Kiwi. Those four probably are the best in amongst the majors for trading momentum. And then you'd go, like, if you want to trade support and resistance, fake outs, fade trades, so basically reversal trades, that's where I prefer to do something like euro, dollar, and cable. And then something like the Aussie dollar, you can kind of do anything with it. So it works for all types of markets. So it tends to be quite clean, the moves, the breakouts. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about the news, for example. When you have good numbers, it will break and it will be consistent. But again, the Aussie is great for scalping, great for swing trading. So that's why I kind of said it's probably my favorite one to trade overall. And then the worst one for me is probably dollar yen. I actually hate dollar yen, but I just find it kind of inconsistent with, so like, like when we say, for example, the trend line break, and then it's going to go to the next trend line 80% of the time. Dollar yen just does its own thing a lot of the time. I don't trust it. So I don't really tend to trade that pair very often, if at all. But I would trade sterling yen and euro yen. because you've got the strength or weakness of the euro and sterling, which I find quite predictable. So then you're mixing, sterling with yen, it's fine, or euro with yen, it's fine. But yeah, I think the key to this is identifying what your strategy is going to be, and then trying different pairs out, get and see what resonates with you. So it's normally people, I'm guessing, are choosing currency pairs because they're making good returns, or their predictions are coming true. I think that's actually the most important thing. So it's not even, because as you're learning, as you know, it's not just making a prediction. It's to do with all the other stuff that comes with it, the emotional side and the risk management side and managing your trade. All that stuff is the things that really make your returns. But if your analysis is generally good and right, then the other bits we can fix, or you'll be able to try and work on and fix. But if your analysis is completely wrong, you're like, okay, dollar yen's going up and it goes down, then in general, you're not going to make money, whatever the other. So whether your psychology is good or not, if you're not predicting where the market's going to go, then.
Do you find that, sorry, mate, were you going to say something?
No, that's it, man.
I was going to ask a question. As you've trained and taught so many people as you have, once you've had some decent training from someone that knows what they're doing, it's not that hard to pick the direction, is it? Like, people are finding quite quickly, actually, wow, I can at least, like people were saying before, that I'm not doing well in the trade, but it's going the way that I want, but I'm getting stopped out before it goes where I want. So that to me, like, is a great confirmation almost that, like you said, you've got something to build on. You've really got something to build on, that you're picking the overall direction, and then there's things that you can kind of layer on top of that,
Yeah, it's actually really, really important that you you acknowledge that somewhere. Like, don't let that fact kind of pass you by. I think it's really, really important, because the reality is we've all got a limited, whatever, everybody's got a limit, like in terms of stickability, sticking to something until you succeed at it, right? We all have a limit. Whether some people's limits are big and some people's limits are smaller, so they tend to be like, oh God, it's not working after a day, and you want to give up. And some people might try it for 2 years and then think, well, it's not working, I might want to give up. Whatever it is, everybody has a limit. So how do you increase your limit? How do you increase you stay in the game for a bit longer? Well, progress and acknowledging progress. So if you are generally predicting where the market's going, but you're not making any money and you're getting stopped out, it's very easy to feel really down and say, like, I'm a million miles away from where I need to be. What happened to your lighting, by the way? Like, as I was talking, I'm like, you're going yellow over there and some other colors. Anyway,
really?
Yeah.
Mate, this week with tech, I have no idea what's going on. Nothing's happened from mine. Is it for everyone else as well?
I think it's I think you're moving and it's the sun. Maybe it's like making
it's ridiculous here. Like, it's even worse in the lounge. Like, that's where the sun comes in off the balcony. So this is like the most shaded space. Although you'll never hear me moan about that.
Yeah, I forgot what I was saying now. What was I saying?
About currency pairs and acknowledging the progress that you're making, because obviously people have different stickability levels, which is totally true. It's totally true.
It's really, like, I don't know. For each person, they have different ways of being organized. So I'm not the expert at that. Like, some people like maybe write it in their journal, the end of their journal, what they've done well, or it could be wherever. Like, I think it needs to be kind of physically acknowledged somewhere. And a journal's not a bad place to do it, or posting something in a group, just literally saying, look, I keep finding these great trades, but somehow I'm getting stopped out. So I need to work on that and go and review why maybe I'm going too tight on my stop. So just acknowledging that that's happening, because like I said, I think for those that are kind of on the cusp of saying, do you know what, this isn't for me anymore, I want to give up on it, you know, it's really important that you focus on what you do know, what you are doing well at, and refocus on why you got into this in the first place. Don't forget that. So the problem we have is people get into this thinking it's going to be easy peasy. They're going to immediately replace their job and they're going to smash it and make loads of money straight away. And for some people that's possible and it can happen that way. For the majority, it's going to be a work in progress. So when you made the decision that this is what I'm doing, right? If you made that decision, whether you've done a program or some other, whatever, it doesn't even have to be a program, but you've committed some time to develop yourself in trading. Something went through your head as to why you wanted to do this, right? Like otherwise you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So you have to go back to that place and remember the why. Why did I choose to do this? Whatever it is for you. I don't want to work for somebody all my life. I want to have a laptop lifestyle. I want to be able to make money whenever I need it. I want to have something scalable. I want to have my dream house. Whatever it is, like it could be anything, whatever matters to you that time. So focus on your progress. Focus on why you got into it in the first place, and just keep visiting those places because it will be hard. You will go through bad times. You may even blow up an account. Most of the mistakes possible, I've done them, and that's what makes me a better trader today. So you have to kind of just learn and just keep going.
100%. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to find out a lot more about yourself. And I know I'm going through that process again, and it comes in waves and peaks and troughs for everyone. Whatever limiting beliefs you've got that have stopped you to get to where you want to go, this is a great opportunity to sit with that. But that's the bit that's hard, is sitting with that and really going, well, what's happening? How am I reacting? Because the market's going to do what it's going to do. It's our emotions and reacting to those emotions and then trying to work out what we're going from there. So that's the interest, and that's the fun of the game. That's the game. If it was so easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, so sometimes I think you just kind of feel like you're at war, like you're just like this, you know, it's you and the markets and this craziness and things happening and your position's in profit and it's in loss and there's all this chaos, right? Especially when you're new and you're like excited and you're smashing it, and then you're not excited because you've just blown it, and all these emotions lead to like kind of uncertainty. But the funny thing is, and the irony is, that uncertainty is what makes this game so exciting, and actually why it's so exciting for people to get into it, because people do it for money, but actually it's not really the gold. The gold is not the money. The gold is the process and the growth that you have by going through this process. That's the gold. That's the real gold, by the way. The money is just the inevitable result of it. Because I can tell you something, like people want to win the lottery, but they will never be happy and fulfilled by just winning the lottery, because you haven't had to work for it. You haven't grown at all. And you're still the small little person that's just got a load of money now in their bank. But it's going to be a small little person that hasn't had the muscle. And I'm so glad I never won the lottery. I'm so glad that I could, you know, grow from this, from experience, I think. And that's the thing, you should embrace it. If you're in this field, you're just as crazy as us. So embrace it, take it on, enjoy it, keep learning, keep pushing forward, and just be as the best you can be. And it's great. I mean, I don't think there's anything more powerful than building mental muscle, and that's what this is going to do for you. It's going to be like a journey and a half if you carry on with it. And it still is for me, like so many years later on. It's not easy. I still need to just, I can't switch my emotions off. I still have them. So you still have those thoughts. I missed that trade. I could have put a bit more on that. Why didn't I take it off there? all these things still go through my head. They don't go away. So I'm just letting people know.
100%. And I think, yeah, it's an internal battle, isn't it? If health, finances, and relationships, they're the three kind of corner touchstones, aren't they?
So that again,
health, finances. So obviously this comes into that, and relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of need all of them to be completely fulfilled and balanced. And that's the challenge, but it's great, I think. And obviously this is the aim of this is partly to sort finances out, but it's more than that, because it's like you have emotions in your day-to-day stuff, right? Go on, things can happen in your day, but all the hours that you're in front of the screens and you're trading, it's like it's 100x. It's like your growth is 100x, because all these emotions are just being sped up, like they're all there in front of the screen and you're dealing with stuff. And it's just that you're bringing yourself to this experience, and then you've got to kind of deal with what's going on. I want to make money, and then it's gone wrong. You're like, disappointment. There's an emotion there. Deal with it now. So it's like, and it's not. It doesn't feel fun, but if you kind of change your thought process and think, this is growth rather than this is bad. So what you think about it is important. Like, okay, experience is growth. So disappointment is growth. And therefore you're like, okay, that's something positive, because I know I'm developing from this.
100%. It's how you frame it. And also, like, then it brings in what you were saying the other day about being the watcher. And that's what he means by being the watcher. So when an emotion comes up, you actually watch it, and rather than react to it. And that's an amazing skill. I still haven't been able to work out the feeling yet. How about anybody else that watched on Tuesday? Have you been able to work out where that feeling is in your body? Like Andy says, for him to have that spider sense, he gets and if you're new and you haven't watched the other show, Andy gets a feeling in the back of his neck. And that lets him know, if he's in tune with himself, that lets him know that you shouldn't really take a trade, right? Or you should at least review your position.
Or get out of it.
Get out of it, or if you're looking to enter it, whether you should review your action, right?
Absolutely,
I think that's amazing. That's very, very cerebral. That it's not, and this is the level and the layers that you're eventually going to, where you'll get to know yourself that much, and your body will communicate with you. And I'm looking forward to getting more into that, because, like I said, there's a couple of places it could be for me. Very interesting. And I'm trying to not go down the rabbit hole of psychology, but at the end of the day, every week, it always leads us back there, doesn't it? Always leads us back there. It's fascinating.
Well, I think it's what makes you human. I mean, that's what psychology is, just basically being human. That's all. So, and what, your human side is obviously like, that's going to determine whether you're successful or not. So you have to think about this stuff. You have to be, this is your edge. Like, knowing yourself is part of your edge. And it's one of the things that you just said there, and I didn't know this when I was younger. Like, if you're in tune with yourself, you just said, and that's a really important point, because one of the things we used to do in the hedge funds is our trackers, so we used to track our trades, as I do now, and we used to journal everything. And at the end of the week, we'd give that to our manager. But one of the things that we decided to start tracking as a team was our sleep, how many hours sleep we had the night before, and then we could track if that impacted our trading or not. And it did massively. So, like, when I had a lot less sleep, my results weren't as good. Now, I've only just really kind of maybe even realized it in this conversation, that maybe that's part of, like, not being in tune with yourself, right? Because when you're tired, you're not yourself, you're not thinking straight. And so therefore it's harder to be kind of self-aware, I would say. So, yeah, so I mean, that's the level that we used to go down. literally tracking how many hours sleep we had the night before, and then measuring, and then we'd had somebody literally looking at that to see if it impacted our results.
They could have gone so deep into that, like when you hear about the Italian football teams and the managers are like, right, no physical contact during this part of the week, and you have to eat this and you have to do this. And I could imagine they could have gone really granular down into that, right?
Yeah.
In the hedge fund world.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty intense. But if they started tracking sleep, then I would have been interested to go, well, if we take this out and put that in, or put that in and take that out, how does that help the overall team performance? As Tony James is saying, at the end of the day, emotions are all chemical reactions. And look, guys, part of being a human being, it's like a rite of passage. We've all got failures. We've all got flaws. It's about understanding them and making peace with them and moving forwards with them. And as Andy's saying, this side of it with finances, your relationship to the energy of money and things like that, it's going to shine a lot of things up. Yeah, really, really interesting. So look, we've got to that point. Let's jump into the trade setup of the week. Hopefully you've got a lot of value out of this. I know for me, it's been a really interesting piece to talk on. So thanks for being here with us. And obviously if you're watching it on the replay, then yeah, hope you're getting value from it too. I know we get the hardcore guys that kind of watch it live every week, and we appreciate your support, but we know there's a lot of people that watch it on the replay. Just while Andy's getting that ready, if you are new to trading and you want to understand, okay, well, it's easy to say that and it's easy to say all of these things, but I don't really know where to start. It's all overwhelming. We've got a webinar that we did where Andy breaks all of this down, his background, how he's come to pick the best bits out of the hedge fund trading floors and put it into this program. You don't have to do the program, even if you want to get some extra training. It's worth going into the webinar that we recorded. So we'll put that in the link after the show, because people that have gone through it have said, wow, it's quite long. Thank you for putting the time in. So we were happy to do it because we wanted to create something that would give you even more value. So click on the link below after the show and go there if you're new. If you're already on the program, then obviously that's all hunky dory. So you're ready now with the trade setup, yeah?
Yeah, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but somebody requested, and I said, okay, I'll do sterling yen. So James Heron likes this one as well, so that's fine. So again, this is not one that I'd typically start with, but it's a nice currency pair. So as I always do, I like to start on the weekly time frame and kind of really understand what's going on. So let me just put in my support and resistance, and we'll talk about what's really happening here. So when you put your support and resistance in, you can kind of see on the weekly time frame essentially where this currency has been predominantly. So for the last 5 years, it's basically been stuck in this range, hasn't it? So this is the top of the range, this is the bottom of the range, bottom of the range, and you could argue that this is like a box there. Okay, so what this basically means is that on the whole, this is a high point for this market. And so what we're trying to figure out now is this market going to start to come back down here? Or is it potentially going to go up a little bit higher and then come down? The one thing that we can say here is that, we've kind of broken through this big block here, and, what was previously resistance now becomes potential support. However, we've got to remember that we are at a high point, and this market may potentially still break lower. And so unless proven otherwise, unless we break through this high, there's no reason for us to believe that this range is going to stop being in existence. So therefore, we should just expect that the market will come down either from here or from here. Okay, so With that being said, now that we've kind of like looked at that, we'll go to the daily chart and see what we have here. So I've drawn in my Fibonacci sequence. What I can see is that we have approached a D point, and therefore we are now essentially in a sell zone anywhere in this box. This is indicating sell. Let's have a little look and see where the last point is. 156, 158.63. Let me see. That's a little bit higher. So where's 155.46? That's the one. Yeah, so there, 127. Okay. Now let's see if this actually is kind of channel there. That looks nice. Hold on, let's have a look. Make sure we are. Yep, that looks really nice. So that's actually the top of a channel. So that's kind of evidence right now that there's a fair chance that this market. Oh wow, look at that! I've only just seen that now. So
what does that tell you? What does that tell you right now? Like you're saying, wow, but for people that are new that are watching this maybe on the replay, what is it that you're seeing?
Well, what we're basically seeing is that we're trying to figure out whether the high point is likely to happen now or whether it's going to happen at a higher point. So what this is essentially telling me is that we have a channel resistance, which potentially means that this could be the high right now. It doesn't mean a lot also because what is also really, really valid is a number of different things. So it's not a case of, oh, okay, we're definitely selling it now. I mean, that would have been a good entry, but this could easily, right? It could easily do this. But also you could easily, and these are my favorite setups, where it breaks, right? And maybe goes to that 155 zone. And then it comes back in and then does that. And then we sell it. That is just a gift of a selling opportunity when that happens like that, especially with the weekly backing it up. But in the meantime, we don't know if this is the high. This is also valid. So anywhere now is valid to sell. So we can now be looking for setup. So what I'd be doing is I'd go to the 4-hour time frame to see if there's any trend line breaks, anything that can confirm that we're ready to go now, versus actually let's maybe wait and see if we're going to go a bit higher. And by the way, the downside is quite big. So you could take a trade, you might be wrong, but then the key thing to this is like take a second trade a bit higher up then. Like if you get stopped out, take the loss, there's nothing to worry about or cry about. Now wait for the next setup and then take it higher, because when you catch it, it's going to more than pay for any loss that you make. So we're going to go to the 4-hour time frame and we're going to have a little look, and here's what I would do. So we zoom out to the bottom, we'll go put in our trend line tool, project it up. That's awesome. So what's that telling us? That's telling us that right now we are holding within the trend. And what was that? 4-hour chart. Okay. And I quite like this. This is really nice. This could be classed as a head and shoulders. Now it's a shame on TradingView I don't have a night, but look, you could say this, right? Could be a head and shoulders. So, right. So what I would do here. So if we're planning a potential trade, I would consider, let me see if I can find like the, so I would, I'd consider just taking that distance, because the right shoulder, if it is a head and shoulders, it shouldn't really be bigger than this. So you could take this here and just project it and just say, well, it shouldn't go higher than that. I would also personally put a market angle up here, which is not easy to find on the spot necessarily, but I will just have a quick little look. Okay.
This is where we need some pit noise, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I mean, I would spend a little bit more time than this, but that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, but I'd make sure I got the right angle, but for the sake of time. So you could basically be looking, I mean, that's not actually, if I do this, I didn't do it from the bottom, did I? So from there, that's actually not far off, is it? Like you can, and then maybe we'll take the fib and see where the 618 comes in, because that's the most common pullback. So the 618 is there. So that's quite a nice one as well, isn't it? Because that one is that's the trend line test, and then this one is the market angle potentially and the distance of the right shoulder. So here, this kind of block here, you could consider a sell with a stop there to see if this is ready to go down. Alternatively, if that got stopped out, then I would be looking at 155. I'll tell you, yeah, which is that weekly level, so somewhere up there. So the second option, by the way, so if you're conservative, here's what you can do. If you don't like to try and pick the top or whatever, wait for this trend line to break. There's an 80% chance we're going to this trend line. If this trend line breaks, you could you can get in if this trend line breaks and short it. So that's another option. And you know, and I would, in that case, I would place my stop probably above 150.80. So you could go stop there. So if you get a breakout tomorrow, so let's say it does this and you don't take it, and then it breaks, you could sell it and then just kind of put your stop there and then target this somewhere down there. Last thing I'll do is I'm just going to quick check one more thing here, guys, which is the up Fibonacci on the 4 hour, so I can see what this is telling me in terms of the sequence. Wow. Okay. So this is actually telling me a slightly different picture in the sense that it's more likely to break higher. It's more likely
the old resistance is, right?
Would you agree with that, Gavin?
Well, look where the old 200, the previous 200 is.
Yeah,
as well.
there, and look, and that I would almost say, don't take it here. Wait for the breakout, or take it I mean, that would be really nice up there, because you've got the cycle completion there, the old 200 around 154, and then I just wonder if there's anything. Yeah, I mean that won't be. Yeah, there's a bit of a line there.
Yeah, it's 3 touches, isn't it?
3 touches, yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's a really nice spot. 154.35. I think that's really nice. I mean, where would that be on the weekly? 154. So it's just kind of there. That's not too far off that. You know, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, that's a nice high point. I mean, look, last time it didn't get all the way to the top. See that there? It got to 153.85. So for me, that's absolutely fine. Do you know what? I know I'm gonna finish up, but I'm just gonna quickly put the daily levels in. Just last thing. Just want to see, just in case there's anything there that 156, 153. So where would 154 take us? 154, 30. Yeah, that's just about within range in my opinion. It's there, right? 154.45. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you're basically then, let's say you're spiking into there, high test. So you're selling there. I like that. That would be my preference, to be honest, for this trade. Either 2 options for me.
Yeah.
Look for a sell up here with this nice confirmation resistance line and the fib and the R200. If you want to get in at the top, sell it around here, 154.50, just below it, and the trend line there as well. Really nice confidence, and add the DTR, guys. Those that have the DTR, add the DTR. If you've got the DTR there as well, it's a no-brainer. Second option for me would be let it do its thing. If it gets to wherever it gets to and creates the head here and breaks, I would wait for a little pullback to that somewhere like here and then short that, or play a breakout if you want. But if you're going to play a breakout, yeah, just kind of be wary. Like, I always like to get a retracement. I don't like to go in, especially in FX, on a breakout. Normally you're selling the low and you could have got a better price. Different with other markets, but C markets, but with FX it's yeah.
So this should be looking for just a little bounce, right? 20-30 pips off that blue line if it does the second option. That would be a classic.
I'd be looking for. I'd put a limit sell somewhere. I would try and find a level. So that's a level there, and match it up with the DTR. Maybe match it up with a Fibonacci pullback, 618.38, whatever, and then look to put an order in to get in. So it's confirmed it's going down. Now we're just trying to find a good entry price. Yeah, and that's it, guys.
Awesome. So look, if that kind of lost you and you're new and you want to understand the steps to getting to this place, there is a process, there is a recipe to follow. So click on the free webinar link below and that will get you started with regards to that. Mate, thank you very much for that. That's really that's a really good trade setup. So shout out to Anthony Greenman as well, because I saw in the group he took action on the trade that you posted last week in the trade setup, and he bagged 80 pips. 80
awesome.
Pips. Yeah,
well done, Anthony.
Yeah. So good work, mate. Very good work. So that's it from us for another week, or at least until Tuesday, where we will be back talking about the C markets.
Absolutely.
What
would be funny is, like, if there's new people on here, they're like, I don't want to ask a stupid question. Well, what does it mean C market? And they're Googling it. C markets.
Tune in on Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. We'll be back talking about C markets. When have you got your football match?
Well, I don't know if it's definitely going ahead. They're trying to gather enough people. But I said, I mean, if you're playing, I might be hopping around. But Monday 8:30. So I've got Middlesex at 5:30. And then
that's Middlesex University, by the way, for those of you who don't.
I don't study there. We teach there.
Yeah. Good clarification. Thanks for that. But there's a small chance that you could end up doing the other cruciate, and you could be doing the show on Tuesday from a hospital bed, though, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm not really. I don't want to carry on the chat show now because it's late. But I'm really not good at just playing for fun. I'm really not good at that. I'm really not.
I remember those days.
Mate, it's terrible. It's like that. I need to win at what I play at. It's just that competitiveness in me.
Yeah, wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I'm desperate, so I'm going to play even at sort of like a 0.25%.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you enjoy that, mate, and get out. And everybody else, if you're able to get out and enjoy some freedoms, then I hope you have an amazing weekend, whatever you've got planned. Obviously, you've still got Thursday night to enjoy and Friday. So whatever you're doing this lead into the weekend and during the weekend, we hope you have a great time. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. UK time for See Like a Pro. We'll see you then, guys.
Take care, everybody. Mira, no quede